Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the best 6 brawlers within the current meta right now. So last did this about 3 weeks ago or so, and that was before the nerfs to Squeak and Surge, and also the meta's kind of settled down, so I thought I'd make a new one on this. So before we jump into it, make sure you're using the creator code in the shop. That'd be greatly appreciated. And without further ado, let's jump into the best 6 brawlers. Okay, so jumping into the 6th best brawler in the meta right now, we have Squeak. So Squeak, it's still a top 6 brawler in the meta in my opinion. The only thing I would say about him now, before the nerf, you could pretty much use him every single map, every single mode, and him get some form of value. But Squeak, you still got to remember that without the gadget, he hasn't really got the best like base attack, and it's still quite easily counterable once those gadgets are down. So you've got to be a little bit careful of this. This is why maybe overestimating him just a little bit. But for me, he's still a top 6 brawler in the meta. You know, there's a few other brawlers that are pretty close on the list. For example, like Spike's still pretty solid. You got the likes of Leon. You got the likes of Bell. You got the likes of Ash as well. Ems, you know, etc, etc. Still quite a few really good brawlers that just missed out on a top 6, but still feel like Squeak is just that extra bit stronger just because of how dominant he can be on those maps with those choke points. Again, I'll just constantly mention it over and over again, but those maps like Dueling Beetles, where it's really hard for the enemy to do literally anything because you're placing a gadget down for 10 seconds. It has a quite a big radius to what it actually shows. It slows them, and even when they're outside of the radius, they're still being slowed, which is just absolutely crazy. You could just cycle your supers like crazy anyways. And the thing about Squeak is that he always struggled just to get into position to spawn trap, but once you get like a few kills, once you burn your gadgets and get them into spawn, it's really hard for the enemies to fight back against a Squeak because he's constantly just throwing his bombs just everywhere. He's got his really good super that can slow down enemies as well. There's just a lot of good things about Squeak right now. So again, you're gonna have to excuse the barking dog. I try and edit out as much as possible, but it seems to go crazy whenever I put the record button on. So should be able to get the kill onto El Primo here. I'm just going to throw the gadget over here just so that Shelly just has to walk into the slow if she wants to try and save this goal. So this is going to be an easy goal for us, and Squeak for me has to be a top 6 brawler in the meta. Let's hop into number 5. Alright guys, jumping into the 5th best brawler within this meta, we have Lola. So kind of predicted it about, I would say, over 3 weeks ago now. I made a video about Lola being one of the most underrated brawlers in the meta, and she slowly worked her way up into the top 6 brawlers. So whenever I'm watching EU competitive or scrims, Lola is being used so much. The main reason for this is because of the gadget and the clone. Just being able to get so much value. I know it's only 4 seconds, but it is a long time. You can just basically tank so much damage, allows you to get so much pressure. The best game modes for her are Hot Zone because you can just get so much percentage from the gadget, from the clones, from cycling over and over again. She's pretty much good on every single long range map. She's even been used, you know, especially with Power League being 6 bans. I've been seeing her on like Shooting Star, for example. So she's just going to be really good against so many different things. You know, there's quite a few meta brawlers which she counters. For example, like Leon, you can place the clone down a tank for an extra like 3,000 plus the gadget as well if need be, and you can counter Leon quite easily. You know, Stu as well, another brawler that she can counter, and she can even have a decent matchup against those long range brawlers like Byron, like Bell. They can still do good against her, but like there's some of her best matchups, but again, you can still get away with playing Lola against them. She's just so strong in this meta. It's kind of crazy how she's just power crept up. She was always secretly strong in the meta. I feel like people just chose other brawlers because she got nerfed at one time, but she's still been absolutely amazing. And even well, ever since the introduction of these gears as well, she's just still been pretty much insane. You just don't get as much value as placing the ego down in front of you, but still I'd say that's the preferred position to put it in, just because again you can tank so much with this gadget. I've not even placed the gadget yet. I've spoke about it so much and not even got any value out of it. And even if it's like 2000 HP, you're just going to be able to tank pretty much every single piece of ammo that comes your way. Lola just absolutely insane in this meta. I'll definitely give her a try in Power League right now. So that's going to be number 5. Let's up into number 4. Alright guys, so jumping into the 4th best brawler in the game right now, we still have Byron in the top 6. So Byron, even though he got nerfed with his super charge rate within the last update, I'd still consider him one of the best brawlers in the game easily. And the main reason for this is because of his versatility. Just being able to play Byron on pretty much any mode, any map. Byron is going to synergize with pretty much every single brawler, right? And that's, of course, the role of a support brawler. And that's kind of what will happen when a support brawler is so good. He'll easily just be one of the best brawlers inside of a game, and it will kind of spiral pretty quickly just because of him being able to play pretty much everywhere. So yeah, still absolutely insane. Of course, you can't really be as aggro as you could beforehand. Like before, he was literally a sniper and an assassin built into one, just because of how quickly you could charge that super over and over again. Just being able to throw that super over walls, finish people off when they're below that 2.2k threshold. And you can still really do that, especially with his gadget, which will shoot out 3 different shots at once. You'll still be able to charge your super quite fast, and you won't be as easily countered by those aggro brawlers with his gadgets. So definitely a really strong thing about him, but I still see him in the meta pretty much everywhere, and he's so annoying. So Byron, I feel like still deserving of a little bit of a nerf. I don't know how you can actually combat him just being so good. It's just overall mechanics are just broken, right? I think at this point people are going to realize that Byron, he's been pretty much meta since he's been released. One of the best brawlers. I don't even know how long he's been released by. I was still got to hold on to it. The first rank 35 at Byron, and even when he first came out, he was so incredibly broken. I could tell straight away he was so strong, and he's still as strong as that now, which is just insane. I don't know how they haven't balanced him yet. They just need to change something about him. I feel like they need to probably change something about his main attack, just being able to hit it so easily. You know, I've said this so many times, but for a brawler like Byron, which is a support brawler, of course, you want to be able to hit your heals quite easily, but being able to hit the enemies so easily time and time again, it just feels like Byron shots are so easy to hit. So that's going to be the 4th best brawler. Let's hop into number 3. All right, guys, so jumping into the 3rd best brawler within the meta right now, we have Crow. So Crow, still a top 6 brawler in the meta right now, especially just because of his main attack, his poison mechanic. Just being able to chip people down is just a really good brawler right now. He's constantly brought into compositions to counter so many different brawlers, and the main reason for this is because of his gadget. His gadget is just so strong. Being able to slow up to 3 people for 5 seconds is just crazy. I'm just still waiting for this nerf to this gadget. It's been such a long time since this gadget got introduced, and it's just still ridiculously OP. I don't think Crow would be a top 10 brawler without this gadget. Maybe it'd still be in and around the top 10, but it just would be nowhere near as strong as he is right now. It's just crazy how strong it is. It can just literally alone get you complete control of the map just by how much of a slow it has. It's just absolutely insane going into so many different brawlers right now. And the things I can think of as to like how strong this brawler is like, for example, I've seen people bring out a Crow on Shooting Star. I thought I'd never see the day where I see Crow as a competitive choice on Shooting Star, but he's a really good counter against brawlers like Max, for example, where you can just easily bring out a Crow, and that's just going to be countering their whole composition so easily. He's even strong against those squishy brawlers because you can obviously jump on them, and they're not going to really have too much counter ability against that. And just so many different things about him that just make him like the complete package right now inside of the meta. He's one of the brawlers that used to counter him the most in Spike. Literally that gadget just got destroyed, so he's even stronger than before. But it's just the small things that make Crow so good, in the fact that like he may not just completely nuke everyone, like he doesn't just go around team wiping like some broken brawlers have been in the past, but he's definitely a really good synergy brawler, and you can get so much value out of playing Crow right now in Power League. So that should be the Mortis dead. That should be Tara really weak as well, and we should be looking to score it if our Mortis passes it up to the Daryl. Really well played from him. That should be the win. So yeah, Crow, easily one of the best brawlers right now. Let's hop into number 2. All right, guys, so jumping into the 2nd best brawler in the game right now, we have Ruffs. So Ruffs is still a top 6 brawler in the meta right now, and I don't feel like it's going to change anytime soon. Just because of the fact that at the lower levels, people still don't really understand how Ruffs is such a strong brawler. You know, this buff got overlooked by so many different people, and he's still one of the best brawlers inside of a game. So if you're still wondering why he's so strong, or so many different people pick him in Power League, especially at the higher levels, he's got a lot of good things about him. So first off, he has a really strong gadget. So this gadget can tank so many shots from so many different brawlers and just allows you to get close and personal with their enemies, especially when they waste so much ammo. It's just a lot easier to take down a brawler if they're low on ammo, especially those single shot ones. So that's a really good strong thing about him. His star power, being able to break open walls, deal additional damage with that super, and giving it to your teammates as well. That super alone is just so strong. Given the upgrades, it's going to make or break your team, especially if you have all 3 players on your team with an upgrade. You think about it, that's just going to be so much additional damage and HP for the enemies to deal with. When you pair this with like the damage gear, for example, the shield gear, it just makes for such a broken combination. Like Ruffs is just a complete brawler right now, so strong. And the thing that made him weak beforehand actually got changed with the balance change about a couple of months ago. So like he was really weak with his damage. He didn't really put up a fight on his own. So now he's been buffed. I think it was only like a 16% damage buff, but it really did a lot. He can now take down so many different brawlers in a 1v1 situation, which I absolutely love about Ruff. So you can see here 2000 damage onto the Colt. You can pretty much 2-shot him. It's just absolutely insane the amount of damage you could put out with Ruff. So it looks like I should be able to score here. The second best brawler in the game right now. Let's open to number 1. Alright guys, so jumping into the best brawler in the game right now, we still have Eve at the top of the list. It's just so wild how Eve has had so many nerfs to her, and she still is the best brawler in the game, in my opinion. She's been used so much in Power League right now. She's such a pain to deal with. Pretty much banned all of the time. And if she's not banned, she's going to be used. So the main thing why she's so toxic is because of her cycling of her hatchlings. Being able to just shoot with the big egg can just produce a hatchling every single time. It's just so broken. And I've even seen a competitive, there's a team, if you guys know them in EU, Team K, so I've seen them been using the first star power as well pretty much all of the time, and that can be a really good star power against Eve's counters. So brawlers like Max, for example, a lot of people bring out Max to counter an Eve. You could just switch the star power and it should be a lot easier to hit that Max and so forth. So still Eve just still incredibly strong right now. I'll just completely rework this star power. It's just so insanely frustrating, just constantly having to shoot a hatchling over and over again. Doesn't really do the most damage, hasn't really got a lot of HP, but you can't really ignore it. It's still some consistent damage. It's still going to tickle you down for 3 seconds and stop you from healing, so you still have to deal with them every single time. It can just allow you to waste ammo, get close and personal with the enemies. You've got a decent gadget being able to get away from the enemies as well. She does a lot of damage, so again, I would nerf her in multiple categories. So I'll pretty much just get rid of that second star power. It's just a toxic star power that shouldn't be in the game. She does a lot of damage still, which is just crazy for her. So I'll definitely nerf them, and then probably nerf her super as well. I feel like you cycle your supers too much, and it could just be a domino effect. So once you get that first super, you can just keep cycling over and over again. It's just so frustrating playing up against Eve right now. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know who you think are the best 6 brawlers. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.